All right, have and have not fans. First off, I'm sorry. I It was 8:50 last night. I was just closing my eyes in order to get myself together for the episode. Next thing I know, it's 5:30 in the morning, and it's like, okay, yep, this is just like Super Bowl Sunday all over again. I closed my eyes on Sunday at 7, then I woke up at 4 the next morning, and last night closed my eyes around right before 9 o'clock, and I woke up at 5:30. So yeah, I wasn't able to live tweet or live stream, but I am here now, and that's what counts. And just so you know, unfortunately, HAHN has yet to reach out to me. So in my trailer breakdown, which I'll record after this one, which apparently they actually put the trailer for next week's episode on the HAHN YouTube channel right away, which is great. But it's not so great since HAHN hasn't contacted me, and the videos that have been filed for copyright dispute are still ongoing. When I do my trailer breakdown, there will be no trailer. There will just be the clip. I mean, the picture. So I've already apologized because, it's out of my control. But here's what's in my control. I watched the episode just now. Let me just say this much. Usually, I kind of spread it out through the exact review. But let me just say, this episode in some ways felt a bit like, some scenes were just a bit repetitive dialogue, things, just characters being stupid. And at the core of it, there were some scenes that actually had a lot of heart to them, believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not, this episode was kind of like a mixed bag. And there's one particular scene I have to talk about because I think it's actually going to raise the point value of this episode for me. But we'll get there when I get there. So let's just start off. I have my page of notes here, and it's only one page. So that tells you right there that it wasn't really oh my God kind of episode. Episode starts off pretty much the first 5 minutes is Jeffrey, Justin, and Madison. It's fine. Let's just put it this way. The way Jeffrey is so aloof to this situation in terms of he doesn't care if Justin's standing outside. He doesn't care about Madison going to the police tomorrow morning. The way Jeffrey doesn't care is how I feel about Jeffrey and Justin. That's exactly how I feel. And I will give Tyler Perry points for this. The fact that it was a laser pointer, just like, somebody doing a PowerPoint presentation and whatnot, instead of a gun. So I will admit, that was pretty funny because of the fact that Madison's freaking out, and I feel like we all were freaking out at the end of last week's episode. So I will give the scene points for that. That was actually pretty damn funny, but pathetic at the same time, where it's like Justin is willing to do anything to get attention. But I think Madison represents the fan base in that scene, and that's what made his character good. It's just like, Jeffrey, when are you going to open your eyes and realize you got to get away from this dude? The more he pops up and you just go run to him, that's exactly why he keeps coming by, because you keep giving him attention. It's kind of like, that guy or girl that, just keeps, popping up in your DM and whatnot, even after, you say things are done. That's kind of where Justin is, except he's more violent and threatening about it. Now, in any case, remember that he was saying, oh, this kid is nuts. And I'm like, the scene just felt a bit slow paced because the repetitive dialogue kept on going. Jeffrey finally goes outside. Justin wants him to come home. No, he's never going to come to where you're staying, Justin, the place that you said you got for him and yourself. Then on top of that, he's like, well, I won't be able to live without you. The only thing that I loved about this scene was the fact that Justin did not bring up that I have nothing to lose because I gave it all up for you. I'm glad that didn't come up because I'm so done with the whole my wife, my kid, my family, my job, all of it because of you. No, you did it to your damn self. Like, Jeffrey did not make you sign those documents, the divorce papers, the like, what was it, like the restraining order or the paperwork that said you're not to come anywhere near your daughter. Then his mother coming by the job and, pretty much disowning him. And then, it was his actions with Wyatt that he denied that has him kicked off the force for now while there's an investigation going on. Matter of fact, when are we ever going to touch upon that? But I'm glad that wasn't brought up because that's just way too old. But Justin's like, you love this and whatnot. And yet, I mean, there's not much to say about the scene aside. Jeffrey goes back in the house. Justin's still standing out there. And Madison's just like, okay, this is ridiculous. So the first scene, I never thought I would say this because I know what Tyler Perry's doing is all about these toxic relationships and obsession and stuff like that. And some, like, just like a hurt puppy, you know, he's going to go back to his owner who mistreats him over and over again because he cares. Believe it or not, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think the Paynes handled this better than the haves and have-nots. Even though it was scaled down more, Nyla and Kendrick, I believe, that, as much as I dislike the Paynes, they actually made me care more about that story than the whole Justin and Jeffrey thing. I feel like if Justin was toned down a lot more from being like an off-brand Veronica, you know, destroying property and things like that, just acting like a rabid dog, and it's like, I'm sorry, it would have been a lot more convincing. And why wasn't it brought up as like, well, what are you hanging around here for and acting so calm for, and what are you touching me for? The last time we met, you were beating my ass into the floor at the hospital. Like, why didn't that come up? Okay, I'm done. So that first scene is done. Then we go to the Iron Bone bar. Sandy Malone. What's up, Sandy? We haven't seen him in a while. Candace stops by, and once again, it's pretty clear that the Malones don't really like to associate with individuals of a certain color, if you will. Ironically enough, it's Black History Month, and yes, I am aware of the Liam Neeson, or is it Nielsen thing. So, yeah, very close to home there. But I'm just playing. But for real, it's just like, it's just seeing. No, I'm not saying like I hated this scene because of the whole racial thing. It's just that I feel like I've been getting a sensory overload when it comes to all things race relation. People being offended because somebody said this. People being offended because somebody wore this or tweeted that. I've just been unplugged for most of yesterday, especially after the State of the Union address. It's just But when it comes to the Malone bar, I'm going to treat that just like the Malone bar. I'm going to separate that from real world. Candace talks with Mitch, and this is where, once again, Candace's character has lost me. She is going after the $8 million again. Why? I know you want to split town and everything, but now you're dragging Mitch into it. And this supports a video I did way back, even as far back as when Warlock was killed. I said Mitch might actually become an enemy at some point. What she's planning is, Mitch, you convince Benny to sign over the money to me, and then well, Benny needs to do the right thing and give the money back to the Criers due to the fact that the Criers are after him, and there are two families after him. And it's kind of odd because Mitch only told Candace about how one family is after Benny, being the Criers, but does Candace know that the Malones are also after Benny? Wait, did they mention that? It's like, yeah, I talked to my grandma. My family isn't going after Benny anymore. So I think that was mentioned. I'm sorry. Like, I just watched the episode and I took notes. I forgot. But I'm just saying that Mitch is, again, one of my favorite characters without a doubt. But here's what I don't like, because I feel like we're going down the same road again. She promised to give Mitch a couple $100,000, so we can just assume we're talking around maybe 100 or 300,000. Because she said, "I'll give you a couple hundred, if you help me out with this. If I get the money." It's like, yeah, I'll believe when I see it. Didn't she promise Warlock $100K? And she got like 7.4 million, but then gave him 150K. But the only difference here is Mitch knows how much money is actually in the account. So you could argue, well, Jeremy, maybe it's not going to be a Warlock situation. But I'm just saying, Mitch, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But the scene was better, once Candace left, and it's like, oh, I'll handle Jim Cryer, yada yada. I can deal with this. And I'm just like, are we really doing this again? But then I loved it when Sandy Malone came back, and then Mitch set him straight, like, look, that was Candace Young. It's like, wait, what? Because I did love the Candace scene where she's like, or Mitch is like, do you want to drink? It's like, no, I don't think I want to drink in a place where people look at me like that. So I did like the fact that there was self-awareness to the whole, yeah, I'm black, but I'm not even going to deal with this. And what made me interested in this scene is when she walked up on Sandy and he was all like, wait, what, who are you? And which is completely opposite from how Candace is typically treated when she meets a man for the first time. Usually it's like lust at first sight for them, but nope, just because of the color of her skin. But then as soon as she left, and then Mitch told Sandy that that was Candace Young, aka the woman that helped the family get rid of Warlock and get revenge on him. All of a sudden, damn, she's hot. I'm like, for real, dude, for real. And as Mitch said, have you ever been with a black girl? Nope. And it's like, well, it's almost like, you want Candace and Sandy to have sex just to show his ass up. And I love the fact that, you're only 5'6". She will turn your 5'6" little ass out. You won't even know what to do with it. So that pretty much implies that Mitch and Candace have at least had sex one time. Remember, those two were a couple when they were younger, but Mitch never introduced her to the family, and now she sees why. Not just because of the fact that Mitch is a Malone, but also because the family doesn't really deal with black people. So that was mentioned in season, I want to say late season 3. This was during the Hannah versus Candace custody battle for Quincy Jr. and when Candace had that new house and everything across from Pearl. But yeah, those two used to date, and I just love the scene and the fact that Mitch was like, hey, when people come by here, you need to start treating them better. So there was some heart in that scene. The only thing I didn't like was the whole Candace wanting the money again. Like, believe it or not, I would say that if Candace was trying to get maybe a few $1,000s to split town, okay, but her once again trying to get the $8 million is stupid. Now, moving on to the next scene. Veronica with the grits, and I've done, a couple videos on it. Just like I said, she ain't going to mess up her bed sheets. So RK gets up. The most important thing to take away from this scene is the fact that Veronica knows that RK has her jewelry. I'm a bit surprised it came up in casual conversation. I thought it would be more like, okay, you stole from me, I want to grit your ass or something like that. But it's just like, hey, I know you got the jewelry, bring it back by noon. But then she said, don't come back again. So I'm assuming that she just wanted the jewelry dropped off at the front door and him not to come in the house. I really don't know. But what is it? It's like, what puzzles me, that's troubling me? You're still here. Nah, I'm a hologram. I'm going to holler at your ass later. RK, I love this dude. I love this guy. He just ups and leaves, and she puts the grits down and goes to sleep. And yeah, so we get a scene where Katherine comes over to Broderick's house. And again, this was probably my favorite scene of the episode because it adds more character to Broderick just to see Katherine come over to his house. And just like the synopsis said, Katherine gets a taste of what it's like on the other side of the tracks. And that scene really reminded me of the first time that Katherine came over to Hannah's house a couple of seasons ago. And yeah, it was a very nice scene. And this, Tyler Perry, this is what I'm talking about. When you write stuff that really reflects the real world, the fact that Broderick is an illegal immigrant and, he is working in a nice hotel and he is making money, but he doesn't have a lot to show for it because he sends that money back to his family. And like he told Katherine, the prostitution ring just kind of happened, but it's gone now. So in a way, you gave Broderick some redemption to his character because you could just tell, like Giovanni and Renee did an awesome job with this scene just because of how Broderick is really showing like, I don't have much, but I'm willing to share the best I have with you, because you went through all the trouble of coming all this way. And just, the way Katherine's just looking at everything, like, the innocence and like, the fact when Broderick is getting 2 plastic red cups and, pouring some of his best liquor or vodka, whatever alcohol it was. But yeah, this, I didn't cry or anything. It's just like, it really hit me like, damn, not every character is as bad as they seem to be when it comes to conning and whatnot. That I'm not saying what he has been doing is right, like the prostitution ring and threatening to sue Katherine for sexual harassment and whatnot, but just in regards to him just being, well, a guy doing what he can to support his family back at home. And I'm just going to make a quick segue because I will do a Broderick and Katherine video later this week. But if you remember the movie, it was a Chris Rock film called Head of State, which is honestly one of my favorite comedy movies, about a black guy running for president and winning. and this is early 2000s. But Bernie Mac's in the film, if you didn't know. But what really, I remember, and I know I'm stumbling over my words because I'm trying to make sure I don't mess it up. It was the speech he gave for the first time where he didn't look at cue cards or anything. And I remember it as the "that ain't right" speech. Like, look it up on YouTube, like Head of State, Chris Rock, "that ain't right." As a public speaker, that speech to me inspired me so much. That's how I'm able to get on stage and talk, because the freedom of that speech, the fact that he spoke from the heart. Like, the part that got me the most was, how many of you work in a hospital you can't afford to get sick in? That ain't right. How many of you clean houses how many of you work for people where you clean houses where you can't even afford to live in yourself? How many of you clean hotels that you can never afford to stay in? That ain't right. And I'm just like, yo, that scene really reminded me of that. It's like Broderick works in the Artesian Hotel. I mean, true, it's not spick and span, because Katherine did get on him about having the cleaning crew do their job. But at the same time, it is an expensive hotel and whatnot. So to actually see how he's living compared to where he works, it was a bit sad. But you know what? I wasn't sad for Broderick because, like he said, it's not much, but it's cozy. And it really humanized him for me. Like, that really made me enjoy the character, which makes me fearful that Jim will kill him, because as Katherine said, if you play your cards right, I'll take care of you. I'll keep you, in the sense that, you do me, but I'll set you up in a better surroundings and whatnot. So yeah, I like this scene. Easily my favorite. And then they go to the car, and $275,000 car. If I ever seen the back of it, only from the outside. So I did like this scene very much. Renee, Giovanni, props to you on that. Then we go over to Sarah's apartment, and I'm actually going to make this a two-pronged scene here. I'm going to talk about Sarah and Wyatt, Sarah, Wyatt, and George, and then Sarah and Jim all in one, discussion real quick. So we can assume this is the next morning due to the fact that we saw daylight in the room, and, Sarah's in night clothes. So we can just assume that, Wyatt stayed the night over on the couch, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. But number one, that's the only time I could see Sarah placing crack in his pocket, because as Wyatt said, if I would have known this day, I would have gotten high already. But here's the thing. She has pain pills, gives them to Wyatt, who takes them at once, and then says, you shouldn't drink with those pills. And I'm like, well, you can clearly tell he's an addict, so why would you give him the pills to begin with? I don't want you to die. And it's like, well, mainly because you don't want a dead body in your apartment. And on top of that, you do not want to kill your only bargaining chip with George right now. So my question is this. I mean, number one, I'm surprised Wyatt didn't try to sleep with her. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but I think we can assume that maybe Sarah slept in her bed and Wyatt slept on the couch. I'm just speculating here. But in the long run, I don't think it matters, because Wyatt just probably would have blabbed about it. But I mean, I don't really know. And this goes to the whole making characters stupid right before they get killed off. Why does Tyler Perry always do this? Every time I mention I have a crush or I find a character attractive, the female characters get killed off. Or even if there's a character I like in terms of, I really like this character, he's cool, like Warlock and Oscar. Nothing has happened to Mitch yet. But I'm just saying that last week the question was, what the hell was Sarah expecting to do? Or was it the week before last? What was Sarah expecting to do trying to get the bullets back? There is no way that Jim would literally give back the bullets, proving that Sarah was working for him, which would be damning to him in the case against George. Even George called her out for the bull crap. It's like, you don't have the bullets, you have Wyatt. You think this is going to help you? And yeah, as George said, like, I told Wyatt already, I can't help him. I can't give him the money. I can't keep him in jail because of the fact that the Malones want him dead, so they won't testify. And then this girl put drugs in his pocket, and even George saw through this bull crap. It's like, really, Sarah? And then Wyatt, again, the freaking DA. I don't care if you're the BA, the CA. I was done. Like, I was laughing so hard. But it was stupid that you're going to do drugs in front of him. It's like, well, I don't even know if I could be mad at Wyatt because he's done so many dumb things that I don't even know if I could be mad at him. So I just don't even know what to say about that scene. He's taken away. Sarah somehow gets the bargaining chip of one more day. And what got me laughing was the fact that she tried to pull on George, what she always does on Jim. I'll do anything. But as Jim said, I've already seen your anything, Sarah. It's not impressive enough. So the fact that George has shoved her all like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I'm sorry. And it's like, are you really sorry? So George leaves and she has one more day to convince, I guess she said Wyatt to talk. I guess I don't really know how she plans to. Well, there is an upcoming episode with Wyatt testifying and also him in jail. So I don't know. Maybe she does something that works. I don't know what to think at this point because some of these things are just so unrealistic and just, well, ridiculous. But I still watch it. Jim comes over. Yeah, I'm skipping towards the end. Jim comes over. Delivery. Sarah opens the door. First of all, why the hell did you open the door? Like, did you not? Jim's voice wasn't disguised to the fact that you couldn't recognize it's Jim Cryer. It goes back to last week's episode where Wyatt was banging on the inside of the trunk. And it's like, I wouldn't be answering. I wouldn't immediately open the trunk of my car, because somebody's beating on the inside. And I know for a fact the last time I checked, I don't remember anybody getting into the trunk of my car. So I'm like, did you recognize Wyatt's voice and that's why you opened it? Just like this whole door scenario. Did you open the door because you knew it was Jim? Or did you suspect that it was really a delivery person, even though the voice was clearly that of Jim Cryer? Once again, Sarah. As the scene progresses, here's the one thing I would have thought. Okay, I'll believe her when I say that she didn't know why it was in the trunk. I'll believe that. But what I don't buy is the fact, you know Wyatt is a druggie. All you had to tell, even though Jim probably would have found out the truth, but I feel like it would have extended your life for at least 4 more episodes. Why didn't you just tell Jim, yes, Wyatt was in my trunk. I didn't know he was here. He spent the night. Next thing you know, I wake up. I find pills missing. I guess he tried to get high off of pain pills. He took money and then he just left. I don't know where he went. And then that would have made things more believable if, let's say, Wyatt is arrested and then, it's like, oh, he was trying to buy drugs or something like that. See? I mean, again, the truth might have come out at some point, but I think it's better than just saying, I don't know. Which, just like the first scene of the episode with Madison's like, this kid is nuts. Don't go out there, Jeffrey. It's fine. Repeated dialogue that's just, So he, chokes her a bit. I mean, what? He loves choking hoes. First it was Veronica. I mean, technically, first it was Candace if you go back to season 1. Then it was Veronica. Now it's Sarah. And, well, he also tried to choke Gia before they slept together. And I've already done a video about where's Gia, so I don't know. But, yeah, basically, he gets the information out of Sarah about what happened to Wyatt. And Sarah's dead, y'all. She's dead. I mean, we've seen it, it's kind of like, Jim is Ramsey's like, so let it be written. So let it be done. As soon as he says you're dead, that phone call is going to be made. And the next time we see Sarah, she's probably going to be dead, even though we will see her eventually in like the trial or investigation and whatnot. But she'll be dead before the end of the season. So, yeah, sadly, one of my most favorite characters because, I have a crush, but then she's going through the Maggie Day syndrome where a character I really love is made to be stupid and now she's going to be killed off. So bye, Sarah. Now going back to the order of the episode. Oh, we go to the hotel with Landon. I like this scene. This was probably my second favorite scene of the episode. Charles is in his room talking with Landon as well as a bunch of other people from his team. One particular person who I don't believe was named. She probably popped up in the end credits, but I didn't look at it. Basically going down the run list of, you have 5 phone calls today, 3 senators, 2 dictators, I believe. The president wants to bump up our meeting at the White House to this week because of the fact that, him and the first lady want to, go on one last international trip before, their term is over. Then it comes up, do you have a date or a lady friend? No. Basically, he shut that down. And folks, I do think Candace is going to be the one. Yes, I think him and Candace will get back together. That's going to be an entirely different video. But I did like the fact that he shut it down real quick. Like, yeah, you had three networks who want to talk. Okay, I need a moment. Landon, bop, punches him in the face. Pretty much says like, look, I don't know what happened last night, but if it ever happens again, not only are you fired, but I will F you up. And I'm just like, yep, he ain't playing. We got a scene of Chucky right there. Pretty much extends his olive branch over to Landon, helps him get off the floor, and acts like nothing ever happened. I think whatever was going through Landon's head at that time was, you and Candace deserve each other. You both are crazy as hell, because him being knocked out by Charles and then threatened, like, if this happens again, I'll F you up, really reminds me of how him and Candace were friendly, but when she was on the witch hunt for Oscar, made him piss himself and that guy was choking him. So Landon has a bad string of luck when it comes to finding people to be friends with and work with, though, to be honest, he kind of did it to himself. So, yeah. That was a short scene. And that wasn't one thing about this episode. There were a lot of scenes where they were short scenes. They did get the point across, though. But it just seemed like they were shortened scenes for some reason. And, oh, Lord have mercy. Then we go over to the Ice Queen's house. All right, now speaking of characters who pretty much spoke their own death into existence, we have good old Allison, come from the back when somebody's knocking at the front door. Not only saying that, hey, I'm resigning, but I'm suing you for working in a hostile environment. And okay, that's one thing. All right, fine, whatever. Because Veronica will probably just easily knock this out in court because, she's an attorney and whatnot. But then we get to Alice. Lord have mercy. And I did a video a few weeks ago about, will Alice and Celine take down the Criers and the Harringtons? Check that video out if you haven't already. I did that video just thinking that Alice is enduring a lot, but at the same time, we're all asking, she must really be pressed for cash if she's working for Veronica despite everything going on. And I said, her and Celine, you never know. I mean, just like Celine kept saying in earlier seasons, you're not going to fire me. I'm not going to quit, because if you fire me and all the secrets I know will come out. Yeah, Alice has known and seen a lot. So her exposing Veronica, saying, you know what, those secrets you have, yeah, they can get out. I don't think she should have done that, because I feel like she's going to end up missing. We're probably not going to see her no more. Anyway, here's where we get to the part of the episode where I started freaking out, because I'm like, oh my God. So we have, okay, I forgot her name. I feel bad. I know the young Caucasian female was named Karen, but now I can't stop saying Becky with the bad hair. And I forgot the name of the woman who was, pretty much one of the workers for the organization that Veronica made a large donation to. Long story short, Veronica isn't really, okay, you didn't get the point. I wanted a young black female to, quote unquote, stay in my house, or pretty much, for lack of a better phrase, Veronica would just sponsor a young black girl in need from this program. And I've already done a video about the new Melissa. Who's going to be the new Melissa? I know it's somebody named Laura. And there's a video on that. I will try to put that on the community tab. And I did that months ago. I think I did that video back in like September or October. But yes, I do know who the new Melissa is. But she is not going to be coming until season 7. So we're not going to see this mystery woman until late 2019 or early 2020. Unless they speed up the production numbers. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But basically, Veronica was just showing herself in this scene. I mean, I was laughing because between the whole Alice scene and the Karen scene, I felt so bad. It's like, this is a nice house. Well, too bad this is the only time you're going to see it, because of the fact that I wanted a black female. And I'm like, wow. And it's like, well, you pretty much defining things by race, because we don't see color. Everybody sees color. Well, it could disqualify you from the program, and it disqualifies the donation I made. And it's like, yeah, that must have been a lot of money. Remember the first time she came over to the house to talk with Veronica, she was gushing at the fact that it was so much money and Veronica wanted to sponsor someone. So, yeah. Karen, who is from foster care and is studying to be a pharmacist, didn't know what to do or say, and I do not blame her. And it's like, oh, they're all Becky to me. And I'm just like, damn, Veronica. And once again, going back to what I said before about the Malone scene with the whole race relations, like them not caring for black people, and then looking in the real world where racial tension is high right now. The fact that this scene was in the episode, I lost it. Now, the part that made me lose it the most, the young lady portraying Karen, I could be wrong, but I believe her name is Lindsay. Hang on, let me check. Once again, I do need to check the end credits of the episode, because if I'm right, this is a big deal for me. Hang on a second. I'm checking on my Instagram right now as soon as it pops up. Yeah, Lindsay Register. If this is actually her, then I could say I know someone who's been on the haves and the have-nots. Now, let me just say, I do not know her personally, but if she's who I think she is, I do remember her from college, from Liberty University. She was a theater major, and I saw her in a few plays when I went to, see a couple of shows back in school. What was it called? I know I went to Into the Woods, She Loves Me, and I forgot the other one, but it was a very good one. The Glass Menagerie. I remember her. So I was like, oh my God, wait, I know that person. Again, I know of her. I don't really know her, but that was pretty cool. Like, I got to double check, but if that was her, oh my God, I know someone who made it on the haves and have-nots. Freaking awesome. So that was cool to see her in that, scene. Like, I wanted to just, well, I do follow her on Instagram, because Liberty student, and she's like been in like The Walking Dead and other projects. So I don't know how to approach the situation. Like, hey, were you on the haves and have-nots last night? And it's like, oh my God. But yeah, I know I'm like fanboying here, but yeah, that was pretty cool to see somebody who I saw on a theater stage in the actual show, even though it was like a brief cameo. I like that. That was pretty cool. So that was another great scene in the episode. Can we just talk about how Veronica, after she kicks out R.K. and then sends off Becky, Karen, and then, the woman from the organization, she pretty much, after every scene, what is wrong with these people? This one want to sue me for a hostile environment. This one brings over a white girl. It's like, you know what? Let me get up out of here. I got things to do. Just like when she kicked out R.K., like, boy over here making my sheet smell like breast milk. I'm just, ain't this something else? She is a trip. She looking good in that red dress, Veronica. Go ahead now. Go ahead. Let's see what else we have here. David waking up. Well, not just up. He's walking and dressing himself. The dressing himself part, I think he did that while he was in the hospital. Hence why when Jeffrey came into the hospital room, he was dressed and ready to go home. But yeah, it's good to see him walking around again, which could mean that the scene where we do have David with that woman's hand on his face is going to be present day, because of the fact that that might be Veronica. We'll get to that. But basically, Madison comes in, says what was going down with Justin and the laser pointer. And I was a bit surprised that it wasn't made clear that it wasn't the laser of a gun, but it was legitimately a laser pointer. Huh. But Madison is pretty much dealing with this just like, with Jeffrey's like, look, if I tell Jeffrey to come in here, he's just going to act like nothing happened. He'll just say it's fine and whatnot. Madison, go get my son. Then he calls up Jim to call up Benji to call David in order to arrange for Justin to get jumped, which we saw in the preview for the next episode. Haha. But I don't know if that's going to happen in the next episode. I'm inclined to believe that maybe that's going to be a cliffhanger. And if it is, hell yeah. And it turns out those three guys are not any of the people I thought. So that's not Benny, and it's not the dude who blew up the car. So that was it. And we pretty much got confirmation that Benji isn't going to be called up to deal with Veronica. David's going to handle that himself. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I already talked about the Jim and Sarah scene. So to round things out, the final scene of the episode, boom, Benny is in. He's just still an asshole. I mean, what? I got to get stabbed for you to make breakfast for me? I'm like, what the hell, Benny? It's just annoying to me because, again, he shouldn't even be here. He was kicked out for being disrespectful and not giving the money back to the criers, despite everything Katherine has done for them. Then decides to sit on the stoop and not go back inside when he was told to, get stabbed, comes back from the hospital, asks if he can come home with Hannah. He does. Then he intrudes into her bedroom without knocking, kicks out her guy friend, and then, oh, I got to get stabbed for you to make me breakfast. I'm done. Just like with Jeffrey, I am done with Benny. I'm just done. And not only that, Mitch comes over, Hannah. Okay, this is where things just like Mitch. I mean, people have been hitting me up like, you don't know about Mitch. Do you think he's really, playing on the good side here? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because, wait, did your family take the money back? Yeah. Are they coming after Benny? Oh no, I talked to them. They're not coming. And I'm just like, wait, you a damn lie. I get it. Like, you don't want to tell Hannah everything, but you want to tell Benny. And it's just like, your uncle said if he gives the interest money back, then he's good. Like, the family isn't going to be coming after Benny anymore for the whole putting me in the hospital because they know that's Wyatt Cryer. So Benny's good. But when it comes to the money situation, I need that interest because I insured Mama Rose that, look, I want to get the $45K plus the interest back. Then Benny Young, we're pretty much done with him for good. So to have him have over $8 million in the bank and not give me the interest, that's like, no, they ain't going to fly. So I was interested in wondering why he didn't bring that up, the interest part. So then he goes to Benny's room and just talks about the fact that, look, it wasn't my family that stabbed you. It was Jim Cryer. And then Hannah overhears it. And I'm just like, what did you just say? And that reminded me of when Wyatt was in jail. I mean, excuse me. When he was in the hospital after overdosing, and then Jeffrey's talking to Wyatt, who's unconscious, pretty much saying, I should have never let my mom do this to you. I can't believe she did this, referring to putting toxic in the jail cell. And then Katherine overhears it. And then it's like, you tell me exactly what you just said. And then remember how Katherine reacted to Veronica, after finding out that she was the one that had her son raped. Now we can only imagine what Hannah's going to do to Jim after finding out he had her son stabbed. So that was the end of the episode. What is my verdict? Now, overall, folks, this episode had a lot of downs, but there were some good scenes in it. Once again, seeing a young lady I went to school with, very, very cool, in my opinion, if that is her, and I'm pretty sure it is. And, the Broderick scene, a lot of heart. I did love that scene a lot. The Malone scene at the bar, again, Candace going after the money, I think is dumb. But I did like the fact that Mitch is like, look, the whole color crap. No. When people come around here, you start treating them nicer. And I have a feeling Mitch is going to have a hand in making his family better. Now, I'm not going to say that Mitch is going to be the key to turning the entire Malone family around, but just the way, if he can like touch a couple people in terms of how they look at people because of their color, that's a good thing. So yes, Tyler Perry is capable of writing scenes related to what's going on in the real world when they're not over the top. Like, we didn't have Mitch throwing Sandy around the entire bar or beating up the bartender for looking at Candace funny. He just said a couple of words in like a jovial manner, but he was serious, and I like that. And then the heart of the Katherine Broderick scene, I got some laughs when it came to R.K. and Veronica, and then Veronica just showing her ass, and Allison too walking out the front door. So I'm going to give this episode, but then the Sarah scenes kind of lost me though. Damn. Then Benny just still being Benny, but then I really did love the Charles and Landon scene. Okay, I'm going to give this episode, and I feel like I am being a bit generous, 8 out of 10. Yes, there were a lot of problems, but then there were some things I really did love, and the preview for next week looks awesome. So yeah, 8 out of 10 is why I score Power Struggle. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think this episode was good? What were some of your favorite parts? And be on the lookout for my trailer breakdown very soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.